Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we're going to talk about the Dominican Republic, March 2025. Tourist numbers, cruise, and air. Is there a new record for March? You need to stay tuned to find out. And welcome. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you never know who needs this information. Real estate investors, business owners, on the island, off the island. If you plan on doing anything business-wise, you need to pay attention to tourist numbers. So, without further ado, we're going to go to the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page, podcast page. And once again, we are not monetized any longer. So therefore, no need to sign up for the membership. But make sure, once again, you smash the like button. Now, let's get into the other part. Make sure you share the video. Now, this is the March numbers. Notice I'm on Google. Notice I'm not with that Ministry of Tourism page that's normal. Here we go. March 2025, they saw 819,976 visitor arrivals, a 2% decrease compared to the same period in 2024, according to the central bank. This includes a record-breaking, 324,704 cruise passengers. That means if it's a record-breaking for cruise passengers, that does not bode well for the air passenger record, but that's 18.7% increase year on year, according to the Dominican today. North America, particularly U.S., was a major source of travelers. Remember, the United States, generally, they have 50 to 55 to sometimes 60% of all air traffic to Dominican Republic are by the United States citizens. With the next up usually is Canadian, and they're anywhere from 5% to 10%. So generally 60 to 65% of passengers that come to the Dominican Republic are from the United States. That is major because both countries are consumer nations and investors. Keep that in mind. Now, without further ado, let's get back. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the numbers. Total visitors, I don't care about that, as you guys know. Cruise visitors, we don't care about that. Why don't we get to the air arrivals and notice they have separated it. Notice there is no mention here of the air arrivals. So I have to do math. 324,704 minus 819,976 to actually get a number. I believe that's around 495,000 visitors by air. Comparatively, that also means that is lower than 2024. But how much lower? Well, we're about to find out. United States, 296,000 passengers, so it's a decrease of 4.2%. Canada, 139,833, a decrease of 2%. Argentina, a small country of 40-some million people, have 37,000 people. They're next up with a 92% increase. Okay, great, but That's not going to help us here if we're investors or business owners. Colombia, 23,000, has a 7% decrease. France has a decrease of 3.5%. So needless to say, the numbers are going to be lower than 2024 for air travel, the most important thing. Now, what does that mean? I'm going back to March 2024 numbers because, as you know, you see the Minister of Tourism doing this on the page, then you know what's happening. That means there's a record, right? Last year. But here it is, 495,000 in 2025 for air passengers. What were they in 2024? And the number is, if I can find it real quick, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a number. Here it is. Arrival of 836,502 tourists by air last month. This is March 2025, ladies and gentlemen. This is 836,000 minus 495. Is almost 41,000 less for the month of March. Now, I want to say one thing because this is going to matter. March 2024 did include Easter. March 2025 does not include Easter and the Holy Weeks. So I expect them to make up the difference when the April 2025 numbers come out versus the April 2024 numbers. But the point I want to make for everybody, if you are an investor, what is important? You need to understand the lay of the land. If we're having a level amount, and again, a level number of air passengers month after month, we only had around 8.6, 8.5 million by air last year. We cannot repeat that number when we've already had more than 1,000 additional short-term rentals added just in the Punta Cana area. Forgive me, I keep hitting the screen, but the Punta Cana area has added, the La Altagracia province, which does cover Cap Cana, Punta Cana, El Cordecitos, Los Corrales, Verón, and all that. They went from 5,800 short-term rentals to 6,800. So if you're increasing the rentals by 1,000 just per year, and you're still going to have the same air passengers, this does not bode well for short-term rental. And with a situation where 80% of Americans in the USA, they actually are living paycheck to paycheck, you're going to have less people arriving on the island, and that means less investors, less tourist dollars to share, and also other ramifications. Think about what's going to happen. I'll make a video about it, but stay tuned. And there's not much more to say, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the numbers for yourself. 324,000 breaks the record for cruise passengers, but you subtract that from 819, that's a little over 495,000. We are behind right now by almost 1 million. And why do I say that? Well, here's the thing. The first quarter of 2025, 2,320,725 passengers. That is January, February, and March, which is the first quarter of 2025. Last year's first quarter, look at this, ladies and gentlemen, was 3.2 million. That's our magic number, right? 3.2 million in 2024. That's 900,000 and about 9,900, 900,970 or whatever, 780 roughly. But anyhow, 900 and 700,000 less people. And the reason why is because that should be gained when Easter numbers come out for the month of April. So this is going to mean we're on par for the same numbers as last year. And now we're going to have more units that's going to be delivered if you're doing short-term rentals. What does that mean for businesses? What is it going to tell everybody out there? Let me know what you guys think. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to wrap this up. There's nothing more to be said. Stay tuned for the video talking about the ramifications of what you can do. Remember, we always stay ahead of the curve. So that way you're going to be able to have more money in your pocket. But I will say one thing. Everybody who invested under in the last 2024, 2025, as long as you invested under $150,000, you're going to be fine. If you purchased it 2019, 2018, 2020, 2021, 2022, then you're going to be fine because your purchase price is going to be at the lower price. So you will be fine. But now, did you make those choices? Amenities, 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 location, location, location. Think about it. That's how you're going to get people to come to you if there's more tourists and more availability. Now you're going to get it. If you have less tourists and tourists get to pick where they want to stay and prices start dropping in the rentals, then that means they're going to be looking for, what do I get for the place that I'm going to be staying at? So if you can charge the same price, but you have more amenities than people who have bought over the last two or had deliveries in the last 2 or 3 years, you're still going to be able to win. And with all that said, I love you. Thank you so much for watching. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, but it's okay. We make sure that a rising tide lifts all boats. So come join us on all the live streams, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night, because we're trying to give you information that's going to help you regardless of the rough seas or rough roads ahead. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.